All right guys, welcome to another video. Today we are going to be putting the plates on here and the plates on here, and we're also going to be starting the rear tube rear box frame thing for this. So being that this is going to be such an odd shape, I ordered basically just a big square. It's 12 inches by 12 inches. This needs to be about 11, and obviously we only need like 2 inches here, but we need 4 or 5 inches there, so you kind of are stuck buying a weird shape. So Amazon special 12 by 12 1/8 steel, and then these are going to be our small plates. I forget what those are. They're like 6 by 6. We're gonna have to cut them down for that, but they're perfect for the rear, so we can go ahead and start building that. Those are also 1/8 inch. So yeah, I mean, let's just open this up and get into it. Okay, so our tube front, the smaller tubes that are gonna be holding the fender, the lights, the bumper, all that, those are gonna be coming off of our shock tower, but we're obviously not just gonna weld straight to the shock tower. So coming up with some plates right now. This is pretty much how it's gonna be. Now, I will say, I looked at the Cage Kits kit. It is like $1,800. And it comes like raw, and there's no, you know what I mean? So like, you'd still have to powder coat it or paint it. Like, there's still a lot to do, and you still have to weld all these plates in. Or I can spend $200 on metal. This plate, I only needed one apparently, because look at that, it only takes a little bit. But this plate was like $14 on Amazon. So I mean, realistically, like powder coated and everything, I'm gonna have a full tube front that's just like Cage Kits, bolt on and off, everything. And it's only gonna cost me maybe 300 bucks powder coated and all. So definitely worth it in my opinion. Plus it's cool to just do stuff like this. Anyways, there's our plate. I'm gonna go ahead and, I transferred it to metal already. I'm gonna cut it. We're gonna have to obviously shape it a little bit more like perfectly once it's metal. So, and I'm gonna have to hammer that in and grind this flat. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right, so because it is getting late and I do have neighbors, I decided to just cut everything right now. I still gotta shape a little bit on the passenger side. I pretty much just finished cutting it right now. So there's, ooh, hot still. Yeah, so I gotta shape that still, but I did cut the plates for the rear so that I can just go ahead and weld those on tonight. Welding is not as loud as cutting. So I'll be able to weld those on tonight. I'll be able to weld these plates on tonight. I'll be able to weld these plates on tonight, hopefully, as long as I can drill all the holes and stuff. I gotta drill holes in those plates, and then I also have to weld the nuts on the backside, but I didn't get nuts. I only got nuts for the top, so yeah. That's all stuff that I hope to get done tonight, but you know, fabrication work takes the longest, so we'll see what we can get done. But I'm just gonna keep cracking on this thing. I got the driver's side pretty much done, so I guess I'm gonna shape the passenger side real quick, and then after that's done, I can start welding. All right, so drew these out, the 2 by 3 inch centered and all that. So now we have our holes to drill. Did that on both of them, obviously. And I've marked the 2. We're gonna end up being right now I'm thinking 2 bolts. It's kind of hard when you don't know for sure the layout of the tubing. So you have to be smart about where you put these, because if you make a bend, or if you put the tube right here and it bends out, like, you're not gonna be able to put a bolt in there. So you gotta be smart and plan that out. Even this is not super ideal because the fender's obviously gonna be over that, but we should be able to reach it just fine. So that's what we're going with. I think 2 bolts would be plenty. And obviously 4 bolt mains, 4 bolts, plates for the frame rails. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill these out. And I'll just apologize in advance because I'm pretty sure it's already happening, and I'm sure that it's gonna continue to happen. When I get in the zone with fabrication stuff, I forget to film. So I'm sorry if I don't film much of the actual like cutting, grinding, welding, all that stuff. So Sorry, I'm just trying to give you an explanation of what's going on, and then I know that gets boring though, like just watching someone talk about stuff, so we'll try to make sure that I record some stuff, but I've already not done a great job of it so far, so sorry, but try to do better. So let's go some holes. Well, I have indeed been bad at recording. Got the nuts welded on the backside of the plates that are going on the strut towers, or whatever you want to call them. That's what you call them. Yeah, that's what you call them. Shock towers, strut towers, whatever. I didn't buy enough nuts today, so I only got 2 on these. So I need 6 more total, so that I can finish welding those up, and then after that, those can go on the rectangle tube square tube for the frame. Yeah, I'm gonna weld these on now. So as you can see, definitely difficult to kind of fill those gaps there. I had one really solid run here that's honestly enough to hold something like what we're building on, so very confident that that's gonna be fine. We'll go ahead and do the other side. I'm actually gonna record this time. It's difficult to weld this because this is so thin, and this is obviously 1/8 inch plate. Our best welds are going to be up here on the frame rail, or on the strut tower where it's double layered, and this is a little bit thicker. So we are definitely gonna have to make sure that we burn it in nice and hot right here. And then this, I actually even had to stitch this, but this I was able to weld fine, so it'll hold. I know it's gonna hold. It just sucks that I can't like fully weld all of this really hot and make sure that it's all good, you know, but this is definitely gonna be fine. So go ahead and do this side now. As I was recording that, my phone literally ran out of storage, so I had to sit here and delete a bunch of stuff right now, but this one welded out better than the last one. Pretty good. And I've done some like kind of brainstorming and stuff, and I think that this is gonna be really easy to build. It's literally gonna come out 190 to a post that comes up. They're gonna have another bar that goes to that post, and that's it for that triangulated section. And then we'll just have one coming across and one more coming up, forward, and across. That'll all be bolt on and off removable, so thing's gonna be sick. So I think we're gonna go ahead and start on the back now. Turn around. Time to work on the rear. All right, it's 11 at night now, so I'm done doing this. So I'm gonna call it a night. My dog is tripping out right now because she hears that someone's here. It's me. So let me show you what we did. So it doesn't seem like a lot, and realistically, it's not a ton of work that I did today. I did take a few breaks, but this is fully welded in, which is a big deal. We welded the nuts on the inside of that, so that's also a big deal. That's done. Those are both done. And this is gonna sound odd to people that haven't done fabrication, but a lot of it is just staring at what you're doing and getting an idea of how you're gonna do it, what it's gonna affect, what's gonna get in the way, what's potentially gonna happen. There's a lot that goes into fabrication. That's why you have to pay so much to have people do it. So, sounds weird, but we did take a lot of time today just looking at the car, putting the fenders on, stuff like that, just getting an idea of how we're gonna do this tube front. And I've got it pretty set in my head. So, not this video, and maybe not the next one, we'll see. I don't know if I can get tubing this week or not, but if I can get tubing this week, then the next video you'll see, we'll start to build this, and it should be pretty easy in my head, I think. what I've got figured out in my head, it should be pretty easy if I can do it just like how I think I can. But this isn't the end of the video. Tomorrow morning, when I have some time, go get the nuts and we'll weld those on once we have the nuts. And then in the back here, more thinking, stuff like that. More staring, more thinking, more planning. So we've done all the planning back here. I know what I have to cut tomorrow. I know my general shape, and then I know the tubing shape as well. That's how I'm gonna be doing that. Those are bends. It looks weird right now, but, and then we also measured out what our fuel cell is gonna be, and it's gonna end up being about a 15-gallon tank, 14.5 gallons, which isn't super necessary in a track car, but one of the best things about drifting is like, if you host your own event, or if you go to an event that's like not super crazy, you can stay on track as long as your car will allow you, you know what I mean? So if realistically we can get this thing to stay cool, which I think we can, and I mean, it's probably gonna eat up tires actually, but if it doesn't, too bad. Then we can, you know, use all 15 gallons. And if we go on like something like Drift Week, which I really, really want to go on, that would be huge to have a 15-gallon tank. It's going to be big. So hopefully this all works out how I think it's going to work out. And yeah, we'll get in the morning. I have to cut this back a little bit. I didn't realize, but I actually cut the other side a little bit farther back. So cut this all the way up and down. That's going to be a lot of work, kind of low-key. But we'll get that done in the morning, and then we can plate that and then start cutting for this. And then, like I said, the next video we'll be doing circle tube work. But yeah, lots of talking, sorry. My storage on my phone was tripping out, so I've been going through and deleting a bunch of like old media that I don't need and stuff. So that's why there's not much video in this, because every time I press record it ends up stopping. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, it is the next morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this thing back a little bit more, and then we'll put these plates on here. And I don't know if I'm gonna start that part of it yet, the tube work, or if I'm just gonna flip this thing back around. Well, actually what I have to do is I need to make these other plates. So I'm gonna trace these out onto my 1/8" plate that was left over, and trace those. So I'll cut those out, drill the holes. That way, when I weld these on, I have obviously the plate to sandwich it to that and build my bash bar off of. So we might end up doing that, making those plates, just basically working in the front, making the plates for these two. But definitely would like to cut that off, weld these on, and then decide where from there. So I also got more nuts, so we can weld those on the back of that, but I'm gonna trace that one first so that I can just, it's easier to, you know, trace that hole than stick a pen down this hole. Not that it's small, but it's just easier. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Let's cut this up, and then let's clear some of this paint off so that we can weld to it and see what we can make happen. All right, so you saw we got both of those plates welded on. I also did a little bit of stitch welding around the shock tower in the rear. I did it on the inside, and I wanted to just give it that extra strength on the outside there. So now, since I don't feel like turning the car around just to do this, so just to end up coming back to this, we're gonna go ahead and just build this. So I need to cut two 7.5" pieces of this 2x3", and those are gonna come straight out, and then we're gonna have a 30 and an 1/8" piece to go across. All right, so it did a pretty good job, I would say, cutting the 45s, as you can see. I already beveled this, so we are gonna be welding here, all the way around this. And to add some strength to your welds, especially when you're gonna end up grinding them flat. I think we might grind it flat, I don't know, it depends. Probably not, it doesn't necessarily need to be flat, so maybe not. But to add strength to your welds, beveling both sides, and by bevel I mean like, you can see there's almost like a 45-degree in there that we're going to be filling with welds. So that's going to just give you some more strength to the weld itself. And that's always important with something like this. So got them both done. We're going to tack them on, and then we'll cut our long piece, fit that up, make sure everything fits nicely, and then we will tack that in there across. If we're happy with everything, we'll weld the whole thing, and then yeah, I mean, then the rear will be mostly done. We'll have to do tabs off of this for our circle tube, but I don't want to do that until we have tubing and we know for sure the size of that tab and what it needs to be. I haven't decided fully on that yet, so this is just my general idea. We'll see. I just want to get this done, and then we can move back to the front, and that'll be it for this video. So let's go ahead and just get this done. All right, so got that all fitted up. I'm not super proud of the fit up. It's a little bit off, but I have it level. I have it equal distance from the back of the vehicle, back of the car. So everything is square. It's just not super tight tolerances. Let me show you. Just like that. We're gonna have to fill that. You know, that's not super ideal. It's gonna be a little bit difficult. It's not gonna make it very easy to make that a nice weld. But what we can do, fill it, grind it flat, and then re-weld over it again to add some more structure. But we're gonna car back around. I just made these other plates that are going to be the ones that we build our tubular bash bar off of for the front bumper and all that. So these obviously will bolt to these, which means now we've done these or done those, we can weld our nuts on the backside of these, around these edges if we feel like it. Probably not. I don't know yet. We'll see. Yes. So let's weld the nuts on all of these. Okay, so all the nuts are tacked on. Let's go ahead and weld them all, and then get to shaping this front end, and then we can weld them. All right. What's that right there? Why is that so hard? What's that right there? That's the plates. Welded them on. Welded just fine. This is big. We're making a lot of progress, so pretty happy with that. Yeah, I mean, next is just building off of it. There's a lot going on, a lot to do, a lot of progress. Though I'm honestly really happy with the progress that we made in this video, which is like, I don't know, a week of work. I mean, not actually a week of work, but like a week long of like doing different things. So pretty happy with the progress that we've made. Let me show you real quick. So in this video, we were able to get these plates made on both sides. That's for our tube front to build off of. And then we got these plates made and welded on, nuts on everything, front end. There we go. That's what we did up front. So that's huge. Like, we should be able to build off of this now pretty easily. We've even got our plates here so that we can bolt up to that and then build the tube front off of that. So, or that's gonna be like our bash bar, and then we'll have our regular tube front here. So I am pretty proud of this. I like the way that it looks. I think it came out nice, and I'm excited to build the rest of it to continue to make it look even cooler. And then in the rear, we finished this. We made those plates, welded them into the frame rail, and then we cut and welded up our box frame here for the rear. And then on top of that, all of that, we've got our fuel cell measurements. We've got our like bends and all that we're gonna do for our tubing back here. We know all that now, and half the battle of fabrication is just taking the time to figure out how you're gonna do stuff. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm happy with how this turned out in terms of like where we're going from here. It should be pretty good. So with all that being said, we also know what we're doing up front. So lots of progress in this video. It might not seem like a lot, like when I just went over it right now, it doesn't seem like that much, but fabricating takes a long time. You're constantly putting something on the car, take it off, on, off, on, off, on, off, 100 times. You got to think through like a lot of different things about like what's going to happen if this happens, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot that goes into it, so it takes a long time, but I'm happy that we're getting really close to finishing up the chassis fabrication, because once that is done, the rest is cake in terms of like how long it takes to build things. So yeah, long-winded. I know there's a lot of talking in this video, not a lot of video of like me doing anything. I'm just trying to get you like an explanation of what we're doing, what the thought process is, give you guys an idea if you guys want to do your own. If you don't, hit me up. I'll do yours for a price, you know. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Hopefully the next one will be doing this tube work or building the motor. I have yet to build the motor. I've had it for 3 months. I just haven't built it yet. But again, it doesn't really matter because we got all this going on. This whole car is gonna get sandblasted as well. I think we're still gonna go through with that. It's only $200, and like that seems really, really worth it to me. So we're probably going to do it. So yeah, we'll see for sure, but I think so. With all that being said, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing if you do. If you don't, you should subscribe. We're doing some cool stuff, and we're really trying to get this thing up and going by the end of the year. So it seems far away, but it's not too bad. We got a decent amount of work left, but the main thing is just the money, honestly. That being said, keep watching the videos and maybe we'll start making money off this, and then it'll get done even faster. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.